Okay. Minor setback. I hate when I get my camera angle right and then something about it is just like a little bit off. All right. I just had some cards jump out as I opened the box. We're getting into Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle. I'm obsessed with this deck. Focus on the brilliance. So we have focused attention, prioritizing, persevering, which is I feel like what we talked about with the initial spread when we had that 10 of Wands and the Chariot. Or we were maintaining our focus on whatever it was that's been depleting and overwhelming us because we knew that that was something we just had to get through. Like every time I go to talk about it, I just feel you guys being like, like okay, next. In the time that I had to like reset back up, I was thinking about Deliver Us from Eva. And if you've never seen that movie, go do yourself a favor. Find it. I don't care where you find it. Find it on Soap Today, 1, 2, 3 movies. I don't care. But go watch it. One of my favorite movies. Gabrielle Union. The woman that you are. Okay. But in that movie, Gabrielle Union, I'm gonna explain it very, very, very briefly because please go watch it. I don't care how much I explain it. There's just no way that I can explain this movie because there's so much nuance in just Gabrielle Union's mannerisms. She's so iconic for that role. I don't care. Definitely my favorite movie of hers, my favorite role of hers. She's never gonna top that for me. I'm so sorry. But in that movie, she's a health inspector, but she's like real cutthroat, real straight edge, very to the point. Like she don't give a fuck. Okay, and that's her reputation. She's very brutal. But she's really good at her job. And you gotta understand that she's working in the health industry. So she's going to restaurants and making sure that they're up to code exactly because this is people's food health. And so she goes to inspect this one place and she actually ends up getting, I'm not even gonna talk about that. Anyway, she she does this inspection and the place that she's inspecting, it's like something that's just like a little bit not up to code. You know, something minor. But she's like, who cares? Like, you want a customer to drop dead in the restaurant because you decided not to take care of this thing? Like, this is people's health on the line. Can you blame her? Whole movie, you're like, can you blame her? Now it's funny. This actually ties it directly perfectly because she's the oldest of her sisters. There's 4 of them, and she's the oldest. When they were younger, their parents died, and she pretty much takes on the role of being their parent. So imagine how overwhelming that is for her to be a teenager and kind of have to put her dreams and her goals and her life on hold so that she can take on the responsibility of making sure that her younger sisters are taken care of, which she does a damn good job at. They become extremely reliant on her for everything. They call Eva for everything. Okay, to the point that their husbands can't stand, well, they can't stand Eva because she's Eva. And they just don't know how to appreciate a good woman, you know. But they hate that like their sister, their girlfriends, fiance, wife. Some, I think one of them. Are they all married? They might all be married. Yeah, their husbands hate that how much they go to Eva because Eva's going to tell it to you straight. Like she's not playing around, but she's also just she's extremely wise and she's very health conscious in every single way possible. Um, she's really great. Like, and if you don't come away from that movie with that takeaway, like I don't know what to tell you, but she really is that girl, you know, because she had to be to manage all those responsibilities and then still be successful in her career, which is again being a health inspector and being like well known, probably the most known in the state that she was living in, even though it was for being like extremely brutal, but like whatever, like again, I cannot stress enough that this is people's health on the line. Like, why would things not need to be up to every single exact code? There is not going to be any allowances or like a little bit of no. Anyway, so Eva, super. cutthroat, super straight to the point, brutal. Okay, she do not play. But she's also so like analytical and like kind of overly managing. Oh, okay. It kind of feels like we're tying this Empress in reverse in. Yeah, today's video is gonna be a long one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to keep it short, but it's just not that today. Um, there's a scene where she's talking to the pastor after church, and she's kind of trying to like, she's not trying to undermine her, but she's feeling undermined. I think Eva really was, you could tell the way she approached it. She really was coming for a good place, but she's just so herself and set in her ways that she doesn't see herself in that way. Like, she doesn't see herself as like brutal and cutthroat and all these things that other people see her as, even though she knows they see her as that. That's just not how she views herself. And she's not always just like that. I don't know. She's a very nuanced character. Go watch the movie. She gets set up with LL Cool J. I don't know why I cannot remember his name. She gets set up with LL Cool J's character, and he's a player. He's like, no, he's slick. He's smooth talking. Kind of reminds me of that energy we were talking about a minute ago with the Knight of Cups and when I say the Knight of Pentacles. He works a really good job. I think he's in like the meat industry in some way. I think he drives a meat truck. I think he does deliveries. I don't know. Anyway, very good job. Gets paid well. Also, super nuanced character. They seem on the outside like they're opposites because it's really easy to judge Eva from the outside. But when they actually do start hanging out, even though it was set up in the way that it was, and I'm trying not to give y'all too many details because I really want y'all to go watch it. Even though, like I said, this is manipulative, you know, the way this whole thing was set up, because he was placed into her life, placed into her vicinity, so that she could pretty much go get some business. That's pretty much what her sister's husbands, her brothers-in-law, were implying. Like, maybe if we get Eva a man, like, she'll just leave our lives alone. But again, it's not even that she's reaching out. Like, she's being treated like she's the problem, like, in that way. She's trying to seek control of their lives, but they really just look to her for everything because they look up to her because she raised them. So there's just a lack of respect from the husbands of the role that Eva has played in their lives, because they're all kind of knuckleheads and they want to get over with being like unserious, and Eva's just not that kind of person. These are her sisters, and of course she's like, I raised them, I want them to want better for themselves. I couldn't stop them from marrying you, but I can absolutely continue to give them advice as they are married to you. Hello. I'm just gonna abandon my sisters? Bye. So yeah, her and LL Cool J. I know I'm being long-winded about this, guys. I'm so sorry. Her and LL Cool J, they do unexpectedly bond, and she does start to let her guard down because she's like, oh, he's not like what I expected him to be. And I think that there's a recognition of like, I'm not what people expect me to be. So I'm willing to explore that further in this person because I kind of respect that I see this in them. Where we were talking about you guys seeing something in this more like player-like character, which in the movie is LL Cool J, even though I don't know that he would be seen as the Page of Wands. He'd probably be seen more as the King of Wands, but because he wasn't immature, he was just casual. But he ended up really like falling in love with Eva, and even though the way that he came in was manipulative and it was like puppeteered by, orchestrated, that's the word I'm looking for, by her brothers-in-law, they ended up actually organically falling in love from the time that they were spending together and the way that they were bonding and connecting. And she didn't know that he was put into her life She's just thinking like, wow, like where did he come from? And like the whole time they put him up to this. It wasn't a bet. It was kind of a bet, kind of, because they really didn't think that he was actually going to successfully be able to 1010 again, break down Eva's walls, and he did. And then, like I said, they actually did connect, and they really did develop like a real relationship. And my favorite part of the movie is when, after she has like a night out with him, and she's in the hair salon that her sister's working. Or they own? Does the family own the hair salon? I can't even remember right now. But she's in the hair salon, and they're asking her like, "Oh, like, so what happened? How was it?" She's like, "Yeah, everything was cool. Like, we had fun. It was like whatever, And she's explaining the night. She's like, "Yeah, we went horseback riding, or we went dancing, whatever, blah blah." And she's like, "Yeah, no, it's cool." She's like, and then we went home, and then we burnt a hole in the floor. Because they came home and had sex on the floor. So she was really like letting loose and enjoying herself with him, and not having to be like that super structured, rough Eva. Like she really got to be the empress. She got to let him treat her, because he was treating her. They hit a bit of a snafu. I'm actually just going to expose the rest of this for those of you guys that aren't going to watch it. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear how, the rest of the plot goes, fast forward. I'll put like the timestamp to where you should fast forward to if you don't want to hear the rest of this. But since part of the deal, it's weird. It's like the deal that they made with LL Cool J's character was for him to come in, sweep her off her feet, and then break her heart. I don't really know how that was supposed to be productive to getting her away from them. I think that like it purposely doesn't make sense, because they're all stupid. Like combined, the three of them, like there's not even a half a brain cell. So, what was I gonna say? I keep losing it, but it's right there. Right. So they're like, okay, now you gotta break up. Where he's like, yeah, but I actually really love her, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. And they're like, wait, what? Ew. What do you mean you like her? Like, ew. He's like, no, like, sorry guys, bets off. You can have your money back. Like, I'm serious about this. And they literally, when I tell you guys, they take this man, tie him up in an old warehouse, an abandoned warehouse, and they fake his death. They go as far as to fake his death. Oh my God. And yeah, so Eva goes back to like being, closed off and guarded, and just back to where she was at before, but like a little bit more somber, because she's like grieving the loss of him. So they're just like, there was an accident, he died, and it was a lot. It was really sad and heartbreaking. I hate that part of the movie. I just hate the husband. It's like, ooh, they're not real men. And LL Cool J's character actually really was a real man. He gets out, LL Cool J. He manages to break out of the warehouse, and he literally comes to his own funeral. That part is so funny. Because he busts open the church doors, and he's like, Eva! And somebody literally starts screaming. Black people, dramatic as hell. Oh my God. So, yeah, comes back in. She's like, what? She slaps him. She slaps him. Because he explains the whole thing, and she just slaps him, and she didn't want anything to do with him anymore. Rah rah. She was offered a promotion for being, outstanding at her job. Of course, she's a career woman, very committed, and some would say overcommitted. Some would say, he manages to win her back. I guess she was in love with him. I'm like, all he did was come back on like a white horse and be like, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Like, of course, dramatic. It's a rom com. So you get the whole dramatic, I love you speech, blah, blah, blah. Um, but I guess it's because it really wasn't like a serious thing. You know, their relationship was serious. And what happened as far as the bet wasn't serious because I don't know. I guess she was just like, eh. I love him, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. Um, okay. We said all that to say that this could have to do with a past person. And it doesn't feel like it's as specific as like a bet or anything, but it's just more so like, again, they were younger, they were more immature, and whatever happened happened because of those reasons. And so you might be more in a spot to recognize that now. So that's for some of you. I don't feel like for everybody it is a past person. But we had happy, healthy, wealthy, wise come out in reverse, which is peace of mind, self-care, mentorship, and fulfillment. So that makes sense because I don't think that where you're at is really allowing for a lot of a lot of self-care right now. And I think that that's, again, just more recognition of like whatever you're doing, it feels like you're understanding like it's just not my turn, it's not about me right now. It kind of feels like the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, where we're at the bottom of the wheel and we're just like, one day it'll be our turn at the top of the wheel and it'll be our time for like good fortune, good karma, blessings to come rolling in. But we're just in that like that full stop where it's just not our time right now. Ooh, okay. Let's see what else we can get from this deck. On the bottom of the deck, we have Serenity out of Exile. Exhale, surrender, radical acceptance. You know what's funny? I wonder if that surrendering and the radical acceptance has to do with like kind of what I mentioned a minute ago with the Eva and LL Cool J. I think his character's name was Ray in the movie. Yeah, like I said, the acceptance of the fact that something just, again, if we set our expectations on a person who just was not in a space for us to be relying on them, then we accept that I guess some of that disappointment is our responsibility. Or it's kind of one of those things that feels like it's no one's fault. Like if you meet this person and you do end up falling in love with them or catching feelings for them, and they're not an adult, they're not the age that Ray's character was at in the movie. You're meeting them younger. So they don't have the level of maturity that he had to be like, oh wait, no, I actually have real feelings here. So like I'm serious about this. Like there's no more being a player and a ladies' man and rah rah rah. Like no, Eva's my woman. This person was not in the place to just kind of like change overnight. They were never just gonna wake up and be like, oh yes, I'm changing for my woman. And there could be a need to respect that. Again, y'all might not want to hear that, but well, I love you guys. Okay, we got Zenith at the peak. Victory, achievement, tangible abundance. It feels like the Six of Wands. But it also feels like that Ten of Cups too. Ten of Cups is also a victorious energy. Sometimes it's triumph because we get our happy ending and it doesn't feel like we thought we were going to. Even though I feel like you guys were trying to hold out faith, I feel like you were kind of split back and forth where it's like, I'm trying to keep the faith, but as time is going on and there really is just no end in sight, it's like the light is down there and I can see it. But even though I kind of know we're getting closer, technically, it just doesn't look like we're any closer. And then boom, all of a sudden you wake up and you're in the light. You're like, what? How did we get here? All right, we got emergence of protection. Hold on, let me hold this better for y'all. It's backwards. Boo. Boundaries, self-preservation, trusting in divine protection. What I say about trust and faith. Boundaries is interesting. Maybe this is that you had to put up boundaries with this person. I don't know. All the time in the world, having enough time management. So you could feel like whatever this is just not coming in fast enough. Even if you're not looking for this person specifically, you don't, maybe you have, your intuition is telling you that something is coming. You just don't know what it is. But every day feels like, I'm losing time. And maybe you're trying to distract yourself, and that's where that time management is coming from. It's kind of giving that maybe you guys are trying to manifest something in by way of like law of attraction, and law of attraction states that you need to be in this the state of detachment in order to be able to attract something in. So this is like you guys are trying to distract yourself and take care of your responsibilities, do your daily due diligence, but like as you're doing that, you're like you're like, no, I'm not looking. It's literally given like when you're at a loading screen and you're like, oh, if I just like look away, like it's just gonna go faster. A way out of the weeds, a clear way out, multitasking, getting organized. So I feel like maybe you are in this stage, but I kind of don't feel like you are just yet. Because this feels like whatever this opportunity is or whatever it is that's coming in is the way out of the weeds. Like it's the way out that you were looking for, or you were trying to manifest, but you didn't know what it was that you were calling in. You were just trying to raise your vibration so that you could align with something that would be for your highest good. But again, you don't know what that's going to look like. And I think you're still questioning what that is going to look like. Again, I don't know that for everybody this is going to be related to a past person. So I don't want to say that. And for some of you guys, it feels like it's two people, a past person and a new person. Um, what it feels like once this comes in, there's now a clear goal in sight, a clearer goal in sight that we're working toward. Before, the goal was just like we're kind of making it through. So it wasn't as clear of a goal. It's just taking it day by day and trying not to burn out, and probably burning out and then having to recover and then getting back up and having to do it all over again and not really knowing when that's going to end. So the goal is just, I'm here, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Like we're just trying to keep our head above water. But it feels like when whatever this is comes in, it brings some level of clarity. We know where we're going next now. So now we have a clear plan, which it feels like eases us and it makes us feel better. Because there's this relief now of like, whew, okay. So I don't know. It's like something is coming in at like the 11th hour, like very last minute, like spirit really made you hold on. Like this has been the biggest test of your faith and the biggest act of strength. Like it just feels like spirit's really congratulating you for your showmanship. Even if you feel like, I was depleted, or like we did cry, we did do the breaking down, we did all that. It's like spirit's like, yeah, that's what you got to do, but you did it. Like you made it through. You pushed through. You powered through. You persevered. Um, so the multitasking when this comes in can be that we're still having to take care of whatever it is that we have to take care of, but now we have a goal that we're working towards with this person. So now this is like another thing that we're doing, or we're planning, or we're trying to structure. And we have rise to the occasion on the bottom of the deck. So capability, strength, authenticity, free will. Yeah. What did I say about strength? I love that. You rose to the occasion. So whatever this is could feel like nothing you have ever been through before prior, like to being here now. Whatever responsibilities this is that you've taken on, it doesn't feel like something you felt like you were equipped to deal with. And maybe you weren't when you started it, but through it there could be so many different like life skills that you've gained. It's kind of giving Saturn. So I don't know if this is like a Saturn return for some of you guys, or just Saturn whatever house that Saturn is transiting, maybe your fourth house, maybe your natal Saturn fourth house. But it feels like that's that like restriction and delay that we were speaking out about. But it feels like it was to teach you how to adjust, to teach you how to be adaptable and how to move around. And it's like nothing was just handed to you. So you really do know the value of hard work and grit and getting your hands dirty and just kind of like pounding it out. Um, oh, I like this. Under Rise to the Occasion, we have inspired, oh, all eyes are open, inspired vision, clarity, perception, and revelation. What do we say about clarity and this coming in to bring clarity? I love doing oracle thing because it's always confirmation. um, this is something that is being revealed because it's been in the shadows. You know, you haven't had access to it for a reason. And again, there's that test of faith where spirit's like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And you're like, you know what it reminds me of? We're always gonna have SpongeBob references, guys. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. But it kind of reminds me of when SpongeBob was, where was he? I don't remember what that part of town was called, but it was like there was nobody else there and he had to wait for the bus and the bus would come and the second he would go to it, like it would just disappear. So I don't know, again, if this is that stop start or this is just something that like it's been kind of like dangled in your face a little bit. I don't know what this is. You guys will know, of course, but whatever it is, you know what, it kind of reminds me of Aries reading. We talked a lot about Aries energies. Some of you guys need to go watch my August reading for Aries where I was saying you needed to get rest. But in that reading, I talked about being restless because you were aware that there was a door that was going to be opening for you. And it's like you could see the door, but you can't get in yet. You don't have the key just yet. But you know it's there, but you don't really know what's on the other side of it. If the person that's coming in isn't romantic, then this could just be like a business partner or somebody that is coming in with some sort of a job opportunity. Again, looking to collaborate. This could be like, again, the two of you end up creating a business because you got something and they got something and y'all put your heads together and we create something beautiful and magical. I feel like you're getting your inspiration back because there's something about this that is rejuvenating. And because again, there's a clear goal. It's like, oh my God, I know what I'm working towards now. We like lost sight of what we wanted before and what was available to us. I think based on feeling like there wasn't anything available to us. What is holy? What is true? This reminds me of that Four of Cups in reverse. Appreciation, witnessing the unmerited gift of grace. You could just, I don't know, like whatever this is, you're getting ready to witness the grace of God. Like your faith was being tested, but it's because through all that trial and tribulations is something really, really astounding. Like, again, don't forget about me when y'all get famous. Oh my God. Like, I don't know what it is, but it just feels endless. And I think you're not even going to know what it is. You're going to get something, or this is going to come to you, or you're going to open that door and you're going to think that you're looking at all that this is, but there's just so much more to this. And it just keeps going and going and going. It feels like the Ace of Pentacles. Like, this really knows no bounds. If this is a business partner, again, y'all take this business and we just go straight to the top. Like, this is like chains. Like we build a brand together. And it could be, it actually could be both. For some of you, it could just be a business partner, but this could also be like a business partner turned romance. Which is really cute and really sweet. We're kind of just going through the deck now. This is the last card I'm gonna do. Actually, I'm gonna pull one more card, but I'm gonna shuffle it out. Enough for now and always. days. We talked about worthiness. And so that could be something that you've really been, that's definitely something that you guys have been healing. But I feel like, although you've been like, Spirit, when is it coming? When is it coming? What's this opportunity? I want it. And you're manifesting and really trying to call this in. It's like it comes in. And then you're like, do I deserve this? Like, this is for me? Are we sure? Are we sure this is for me? Like, what did I do to earn and deserve this? Like, it feels, again, it just feels like we're like, oh my God, this feels too good to be true. And we just don't trust something this good coming to us. Okay. These are the last two cards that I'm going to take. And then on the bottom of the deck is the mask we wear in reverse: self-expression, protection, and authentic self. I kind of take it in reverse as the mask being dropped. So some sort of deception, and when I say deception, that it doesn't have to be anything like flagrant. Sometimes it is just like hiding feelings or hiding intentions, but not in a nasty negative way. It's just, and the mask we wear, it kind of feels like it's a mutual thing. Like both people are dropping the mask. Maybe this is like, we're going to stop acting like we don't care about each other, or we're going to stop acting like we don't see the potential here. Ooh, for some of y'all, I heard like, we're going to stop acting like we're not watching each other. We're keeping tabs on each other. We're going to stop acting like we're not thinking about each other. This reading is like past person heavy. I do think that some of y'all, maybe it might be a new person, but I don't know. We're kind of getting further and further from that message. Although I was expecting to see the second chances card from this deck, and that didn't come up, but I'm still kind of feeling it. Yeah, I'm looking at Order in the Forest and Surrender to the Change. So Order in the Forest is cleansing, releasing resentments, and making amends, which kind of feels like that second chances card. But I also feel like there's something about this where you have to make amends with yourself, and you have to release and cleanse yourself of any like resentment you have towards yourself, to where something about this might trigger maybe ways where you feel like you've let yourself down in the past. But again, this could also be a past person, and we're getting triggered about the way this person didn't show up before. If you're dealing with a new person, this is still having to release the way somebody didn't show up before, and the fact that you could feel like you could just look back at that and regret it and be like, damn, I really allowed that. And if it isn't a past person that's romantic, then again, this is friendships, or this is just an overall pattern in your life. Surrender to the change. The art of allowing, resilience, and adaptability. I mean, need I say more? Like, y'all really held out. Whatever this is, like, please understand that Saturn really is so rewarding. Like, if you learn the lessons that Saturn is trying to teach you and you don't run away from them, and you're like, you know what, Saturn, I throw my hands up. Whatever it is that you're trying to teach me, like, I'm gonna go with it, because I'm kind of deadlocked and I'm not gonna resist it. I'm gonna just whatever you say. Saturn is like, my child. Here's your gift, my child. And in this case, this is gifts. It feels like a miracle. I don't even want to hype y'all up. I don't even want to put, I don't want to gas y'all heads, but it just straight up feels like a miracle. But I'm really getting like that when you teach a man to fish quote. Like, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man a fish, he eats for a lifetime, is what this feels like. Whatever this is taught you this is death card. This is, ooh, I split the deck and I'm seeing letting go of stories. This and that are true. Open-mindedness, perspective, nuance, and complexity. I can really sit here and talk about this whole fucking deck. But yeah, this again, remember I said before, like, neither people were wrong. You weren't wrong for being disappointed, and this person wasn't wrong for being where they were at. Letting go of stories says surrendering attachments and releasing unconscious patterns. What were we just talking about? What did I just say about us releasing a pattern in our life? And that pattern is just, again, trying to prove ourselves as worthy, to where we just have to understand that we're just worthy. You're just worthy because you're you. There isn't any sort of like needing to kneel on rice, to prove that you're worthy. Like, because, and I think that that's what spirit was trying to teach you by having whatever this is be so restrictive, because you've really, it feels like a magician, like you've really had to rely on yourself. You've not had much to work with. And this has pulled so much out of you. Like, it just feels like you have really had to show up in a way that you have not before. And all of it is just like your internal beauty. Like, y'all are gorgeous, but it's because whatever is happening on the inside is just like projecting outwards now. So and it feels like that's what this was for. Like, it was to pull this out of you. So it's kind of like needing to purge. Maybe you guys are fasting. Maybe you should be fasting. Maybe you should do a fast for a day. I'm gonna shuffle out one more and then I'm gonna let you guys go. If you got this far in the video, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Ooh, the consequence of fear. Contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilling prophecy. So I just really want you guys to be careful. If you don't take anything else away from this reading, I just really don't want you guys to spoil this for yourselves, because you've worked so hard. And I know we talked about like not needing to work hard, but it's like the hard work that you've done has just been sustaining yourself, holding all of this up, and just again keeping your own head above water. And whatever this was, you had to take care of it for yourself. And this could literally just be being overwhelmed with the responsibility of having to take care of yourself. And maybe you've had to take care of yourself from like a really young age. And again, you haven't really had a support system, but you've done it. And maybe some of y'all have like Saturn in the first house, or like a Saturn ruled first house, or just heavy Saturn in your chart. So your early life is hard, but it's to set you up to be able to have better and have more and have it be sustainable. This is the whole, again, teaching the man to fish for a lifetime. It's like they taught you to fish so that you can eat for the rest of your life. And this feels like you will absolutely be eating for the rest of your life. Like, y'all gonna be eating caviar. You are absolutely worthy. You are always worthy, and you will always be worthy, because it's just who you are. We're all worthy. And I think, even though that's something you've been healing, I just think that whatever this is, it comes in to show us that there's still just a little bit more work to be done with understanding that we are worthy. And if this is a past person coming back, it's like in your dealings with them now, I just feel like you don't have to lift a finger. And that might be hard for you, to trust again somebody coming in, whether this is a new person or this is a past person. I feel like there's a lack of trust of somebody coming in and genuinely being interested, even if this is just a business partner and they're just interested in your ideas and they want to pick your brain and they just see so much value in your vision. It's like, ooh, because maybe there's been rejection about that. Maybe this is something you've been wanting to do for a long time, and like nobody else is really seeing, again, the value in it. They're just like, like they're looking at it as frivolous, or if they're, maybe there's no one around you, because I mentioned not having support system. And again, I love you guys so much. Like, I'm here supporting you, Sonny, you love. But if you do have people around you, I was also getting with that Ten of Wands, like struggling and feeling like people are just watching you struggle, and this person is not coming in to watch you struggle. Quite the opposite. Like, they want to help you out of the struggle. I'm just saying, you like being on the ground, and this is one of those times where you drop all those groceries, and you're used to this by now, and today you do have the breakdown. Maybe you haven't cried about it yet, but today you do sit down and you cry, and somebody comes and like puts a hand on your shoulder and they're just like, oh, let me help you with that, because they just see that you're struggling, and it's clear, like, You're not sitting on the ground crying because you're weak. You're sitting on the ground crying because you are actually quite strong, and you are clearly carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders right now. And you're doing it alone, and you need some help. And that might have triggered somebody, me saying you need some help, because you might be like, I don't need help. I've been doing this my whole life. Like, what are you talking about help? Like, bitch, I'm help. um, yeah, but whether you like it or not, this is coming in. And I'm saying this because this consequence of this fear is that y'all better not sabotage this, because whatever, I'm hearing whatever you want, it wants you. What you're seeking, it's seeking you, you know? So, last card, I promise. Call to transformation came out in reverse. Metamorphosis in the in between. So, this is like the next step of your transformation. We've done the building you up, you've done the hard stuff, you've gotten your hands dirty, you know how to do that. You know how to do that. You don't have anything else to prove to anybody else. You're more than capable, and that's very obvious. Now, you have to prove that you can be receptive. You have to prove that you believe you're worthy enough for somebody to come in and take care of some things. Like, you're worthy to just go sit down and be a prince or a princess. Because, I don't know what's coming for you guys, but, or king, go sit down and be a king or a queen, right? Because we got the Queen of Wands. So it's like time to go sit down on your throne and go be sexy. Like, we did do a reading too. Whose reading was it? I think it was Scorpio's reading about bringing sexy back. Might be relevant for some of you guys. Yeah, but I just really want you guys to, I don't think your guys are actually going to sabotage this, and I'm going to tell you why. Whatever this is, it's for you, so you can't even mess it up. There is not anything that you could really do. Like, you could push this person away, but I'm just getting like boomerang. Like, they just ricochet right back, because they're recognizing that in you. They see the struggle. And maybe, again, since you saw something in yourself, like in this person, there are other parts of yourself that are in there too that maybe you didn't get the opportunity to see. And maybe this person, it's like you're identifying with them in a different way than the way they're identifying with you, if that makes sense. And it's not that they don't see what you're seeing, but they're also seeing something else. And I feel like that's because you don't have this information about them, but they have it about you. Don't know. Whatever it is, like, they're just seeing, like, you put in the work and you need help. Again, like, you're capable. We get it. Like, you can do it alone. We get it. But you just don't have to anymore. So, yeah. I'm just trying to think of any. I'm not playing any more cards, but I just want to think of any, like, final last words. You can't sabotage this. You made it. Like, amen to that, you guys. You made it. Okay. Oh my God. You guys might want to go listen to Never Would Have Made It, but specifically the Leandria Johnson version. I hope I got her name right. I love that woman. Oh my God. Talk about true gospel. Okay. But yeah, that's just kind of like calling out to me right now. Never would have made it. And maybe that's how you guys are going to be feeling, because once you get this relief, and this happens to me too, like, you get that relief and then now you feel comfortable and safe enough to cry, because you haven't been able to before, because you just had to hold it together, but you don't have to anymore. So now there's just this release. So I love this for you guys. And yeah, like, whatever this is, when it comes through, like, please come back and let me know. I split the deck by accident. Now we have the death cards. Like, and with the Nine of Swords, it's like we're leaving that behind. Our days of worrying and stressing and all that anxiety and trying to be everything for everybody in our life and our health and our goals and our everything, our personality, parts of ourselves having to be tossed to the side because we got to do this and be responsible and show up in this way. That's over. That's over. Okay? All of that is behind us. So I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope this resonated. If it did, please give it a like, subscribe. Make sure you turn on my post notifications so y'all know when I get on here and, talk too much. Bye!